Hey everyone, look what showed up. Decided to get myself a set of light guns for my arcade cabinet. The guns I went with are from a place called arcadeguns.com. I was doing some researching around and found basically two styles of guns. We had the ones from the Aimtraks, which looked really nice, and then there was the Top Gun 3s, I think they were. They were a lot less expensive. The reviews I was reading were basically just really bad. Seems like there was quite a batch of them that had faulty triggers, I do believe. So I opted to go with the ones made from arcadeguns.com due to the fact that every review I found was no negatives on them, 5-star reviews. They are a nice gun. If you've ever used a light gun in an arcade, you know the difference between an arcade quality one and then just a home use one. These are definitely arcade quality. Shake them around, no rattling. Very nice. I've got a total of 3 switches, so you got your trigger. Just bear with me, I'm holding the camera while I'm doing this. Your button back here for, like, you know, your bomb button, switch weapons, whatnot. And then you've got this real nice trigger on the grip right here. That actually is really easy for you to press down when you're holding the gun. So if you have like a time crisis setup or something that requires you to press a button to reload, this would be really easy because you're holding it there, so you're, you know, shooting at the screen, and then when you need to duck and reload, you just release it. Really nice setup. The guns themselves, the internals, they have the Aimtrak sensors in them, which are high-end sensors, the best you can get other than a true arcade gun. And then running the switches are all Cherry switches, which are really nice arcade switches. So I went ahead and got the dual set, 'cause, I mean, what's the point of only having one? So you've got your blue, your red, and also this is the IR sensor. I went for the cased version, even though I am putting this in an arcade cabinet, due to the fact I'm running a 27-inch TV in there. So I don't really have an area to flush mount it to the screen, so I'm going to try it cased and see how that works. Also got a extension USB cable because the 5-foot cable in here won't reach to where my PC's at. Documentation's really good on here. You've got your manual for the guns themselves, how to configure them, you know, get them all prepped and ready to go. Also, it's got some nice little tips on your MAME setup if you're running that, how to do that, and also how to get your PC shooter games working with dual guns, because a lot of them unfortunately only work with one light gun, which is kind of stupid, I think. But this one's got a how-to on how to get those working, like your House of Dead 2, 3, Virtual Cop and stuff like that. A couple other little warnings of, you know, don't upgrade your firmware unless you have to, or unless you're told to, or you might break your stuff. And then you've got the actual Aimtrak manual, because that's the sensor that's running inside of them. So it's got some nice little tips and a lot of information on what setups for your, you know, whatever MAME shooters you're playing and whatnot. So all in all, pretty nice setup. I'm gonna move these over to my arcade machine and get them configured up and do a little testing there. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I've got the little sensor installed in the guns, ready to go. Sensor, as you can tell, is right up here on the top of my TV, and you may notice a bunch of lights right up here. That's actually the infrared, so I can't actually see that, but the camera can pick it up. So I've got that mounted there. The guns I've got ready to go and all hooked up down to my, you can't see it down here, but my main box down there. Not sure how I'm going to route these cables yet for the guns. I better not drop that. I'm thinking I may drill a hole on each side of the cabinet here, because I'm going to eventually put some holsters in here. But I'll worry about that when I get to that point. So I'm going to go ahead and put my my plexiglass back over my screen here, and we'll test these guns out here in a minute or two. Okay, so I got my arcade cabinet pretty much back together, got my plexiglass on there, and got the guns calibrated. One note though, it took me a while to get these actually to calibrate properly. I had them set up, and then I go in the games, and games are just inaccurate. There's dead spaces. I tried every, you know, position I can think of, you know, close to the screen, away from the screen. I actually hooked it up to my other machine and got the same results, so I started looking around. Don't believe this was in the manual. When you're calibrating these, I'm not going to do it right now because I just got these set up, but you press and hold this button back here for 5-10 seconds, and then what happens is, you probably can't see this too well, I'll try to move it, but you'll get your cursor flashes up there, you shoot at it, it goes in that corner, you shoot at it, and it comes down the, about the bottom there, and you shoot at it, and that, tells basically the gun where it's at in relation to that IR sensor up there. What I was doing was what I thought was the right way of, calibrating it. So holding the gun, and then when the arrow goes up to that top left, I would move my whole hand like that, then move my whole hand to the top right, and then down to the bottom. Well, it would do fine here. They would be kind of slamming back and forth and all over, real unsteady in the games. What you have to do actually is hold the gun extremely steady and only move your wrist. So, move it to the corner there, that corner, and down. Not your whole arm like this, but just move the gun like that. And once I did that, my accuracy is pretty damn good in the games. So I'm going to fire up my my front end, and we'll get some videos of this real quick. Won't be good because I'm going to be holding the camera and shooting at the same time, but you'll get the idea. But yeah, that trick fixed it. I was getting quite frustrated, couldn't figure out why it was doing this, doing it on multiple machines, and that's it. You just don't want to move your hand or your whole arm to calibrate it. Just hold the gun steady and just point it with your wrist like that. Makes more, if that doesn't make sense, let me know and I'll try to explain it better. But yeah, that's what you have to do, and that's spot on. So let me just switch over and we'll get some games playing. Alright, the part of the video everybody's been waiting for, actual gameplay footage. So I've got a point blank ready to go here, so I'm going to start that up, grab my light gun here, stand back a little ways, and we'll do the training session since I am doing this with one hand. Let's pick that one. I'll just run through this real quick, because I can't talk and shoot too well at the same time. But as you can see, pretty accurate to where I was shooting. In this game, I did have to go into the service menu and just go through the calibration mode for the gun on this game. The main calibration that I was talking about earlier, you only have to do once. Any tuning you'll be doing in the actual game. And as you can see, I'm not that great, but I am shooting with one hand, and I usually never shoot like this. But it's pretty much going where I'm pointing it. Like I said, I usually support this a lot better. I'll get some play footage of that later. Get the idea on that. So we'll switch to a different style of shooter. Let me scroll down here. Go to Revolution X. These are a different style of game. This and Terminator 2, I think were the same hardware, just different game in it basically. So we'll skip past this. They weren't true light guns in the sense that you have a gun like this that you're picking up and shooting around and all that type of stuff. It was actually a joystick that was shaped like a gun that you just moved around the screen. There was actually no real light input. I do believe so. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe it was actual joystick. So we'll go ahead, put some coins in that. Oh, it's set to free play, so it didn't even matter. So this one works kind of like what a mouse would do. So you just hold the trigger down, and it just tracks where your gun's at. I'm staying off to an angle, so I don't have my reflection in there all that much. And basically what the game is, just hold the trigger down and just point the gun around like that. This also has a secondary fire of the CDs. It is a game from the 90s. Kind of an odd game. I like it. It's got Aerosmith in it. Not really any story other than just this revolution, and for some reason the only way to revolt is to just start shooting everything you see. So yeah, so that's pretty much it there, so we'll just X out of that. Like I said, that one in Terminator 2, same style of game. The gun works just fine on it. So we're going to back out here real quick and go to this side. This is a relatively new setup I've done in Hyperspin. Got an area where I can actually launch some PC games, and That's where House of the Dead 2 and 3 I've got set up. I don't have Virtua Cop installed yet. I need to work on that. But we'll load up some... let's load up 2. I like 2 a little bit better than 3.
The House of the Dead.
So that just launches you right in. Hit your start button. And this is the PC version of it. It works with one light gun out of the box. To get it to work with dual light guns, you've got to get a patcher. However, that is in the manual and tells you what to do to set it up. Don't know why the game came across like that. It's just what they did. But yeah, this works with dual light guns. I just only have one hand free, so yeah, stand back. As you can see, pretty much shoots where I'm pointing, off-screen reload, like you would expect in the arcade style of game. Accuracy's pretty good. I've played quite a bit of this. Since these are the PC ones, you don't have any ability to fine-tune the game. You know, it's not a arcade machine, so there's no service menu for it. Just the real basic options you have that really kind of suck. I really wish you could kind of, put this on like free play or something. But then again, this game's not that hard. I can usually beat it with just a few credits. So yeah, that's that. I could go on and on, but I mean, really no need to. The gun kind of speaks for itself. So I'll just exit out of that and back out of here and get back to my MAME side. But yeah, I'll make this short here because I've pretty much covered it. Guns, I really like them. I knew I was going to like them from the reviews. The only bit of an issue was just the first configuration of it was kind of a pain. Like I said, you want to, when you're doing the main configuration of it, don't move your arm around like that. Just move your wrist and, isolate your arm. Just keep your wrist movement to do that. Once I got that done, this thing was almost dead on. And, you can fine-tune it more and more. I'm guessing if you really wanted to be dead accurate, you could probably get a cheap little laser pointer and, tape it to the side here, right level with that sensor, and have it on, so when you're pointing it on screen, because there's no notification where you're pointing, it's just you're shooting it where the cursor has aimed itself. You could probably get it even more spot on. This is about as good as I've got. I can stand a good comfortable ways away and 95% of the time hit exactly what I'm shooting at without really aiming. The other 5% is more or less my piss poor marksman skills, probably. Yeah, really good guns. What was I gonna say? I got distracted with the game playing. Pretty simple setup after you get that done. The one other thing to take in consideration is, since this is IR, you really don't want to have any light right on it or any sort of other IR devices around it, because this could cause interference. But other than that, if you've got a MAME setup on your PC, you've got more than enough knowledge to get these up and running. Nothing difficult at all. Pretty much right out of the box, it was functioning, had to tweak it a bit, got it tweaked, and can't be any happier with them. So with that being said, I think I'm going to end this video because it's getting long-winded, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk. But if you're trying to do the same setup or have questions or anything like that, just let me know, and I'll do what I can to help you out. And with that being said, take it easy, have fun.